What if one ordinary decision changed your life forever? What if walking through your own front door, just a little earlier than usual, revealed a truth so dark it shattered everything you thought you knew? This is the story of Daniel, a man who came home early, only to discover the one thing no father should ever have to see. Daniel wasn't supposed to be home that afternoon. His shift had ended early at the construction site after a heavy rainfall made it impossible to continue work. He could have gone for a drink with his coworkers, or even stopped by the store, but something, call it fate, call it intuition, pulled him straight home. He thought it was just to surprise his wife, Melissa, and their little girl, Emily. As he pulled up to the driveway, Daniel smiled. For months he'd been working overtime, barely seeing his daughter awake. Emily was just 6, bright, gentle, the kind of child who would run barefoot through the grass and laugh at the smallest things. He missed her more than words could describe. Today, he thought, would be their special day. But as Daniel stepped inside the house, setting down his muddy boots quietly so he wouldn't startle anyone, something felt wrong. The air was heavy. No cartoons played on the TV. No smell of Melissa's cooking came from the kitchen. Instead, there was silence broken only by a faint sound. A sound that made his chest tighten. It was Emily's voice, weak, trembling, almost like a whimper. And then another voice followed Melissa's. But it wasn't gentle or soothing. It was sharp, angry, filled with words Daniel couldn't believe were coming from the woman he married. He followed the sound down the hallway, every step heavier than the last. As he reached the half-open bedroom door, his heart nearly stopped. Melissa stood over Emily, her face twisted with rage. She gripped the child's arm harshly, her nails digging into her soft skin. Emily's tiny body shook with fear, tears streaming down her cheeks.
"Stop crying, you're useless!"
Melissa hissed, shaking the little girl as though her emotions were an inconvenience. Daniel froze, the sight seared into his mind. His daughter, his precious baby, being hurt by the person he trusted most. His blood boiled, his hands trembled, and for a moment he couldn't breathe. Then something inside him snapped. "Melissa!" His voice thundered through the room. Melissa spun around, startled, her hand still clutching Emily's arm. Emily's tearful eyes widened at the sight of her father. She reached out desperately. Daddy. Daniel's heart shattered. In that moment, he realized his world was not what he thought it was. Chapter 2, The Breaking Point Hook. What Daniel did next would not only change his family forever, but it would also test the very core of who he was as a man, as a father, and as a protector. Because sometimes, when the person you trust most becomes the source of your child's pain, you have no choice but to decide what love really means. Daniel rushed forward, scooping Emily into his arms, holding her against his chest as if shielding her from the entire world. Her small body clung to him, trembling, her sobs muffled against his shirt. Melissa stepped back, her face pale, her hands shaking. "It's not what it looks like." "Not what it looks like!" Daniel roared. "I just saw you hurting her with my own eyes."
"She's 6 years old, Melissa!"
6! For the first time since they had married, Melissa looked like a stranger to him. The woman he once thought was kind, gentle, and loving now looked cruel and unrecognizable. Tears streamed down Emily's face as she whispered, "Daddy, don't leave me with her." Those words broke him. They weren't just words. They were a confession, a truth his daughter had been too afraid to speak until now. Melissa stammered, "You don't understand. She pushes me. She cries all the time. I can't." Daniel's voice cut through her excuses like a blade.
"She's a child, our child."
"And you were supposed to protect her." In that moment, Daniel knew there was no saving this marriage. No explanation could erase the pain in Emily's eyes. No apology could undo the damage Melissa had already done. He carried Emily out of the room, past the family photos on the walls that suddenly felt like lies. He grabbed his car keys with one hand, holding his daughter with the other. Melissa followed, begging, crying, promising it would never happen again. But Daniel didn't look back. For the first time, his purpose was crystal clear. That night, sitting in his mother's small but warm living room, Daniel held Emily close as she slept peacefully for the first time in weeks. His mother's arms wrapped around him, offering silent strength. Daniel realized something. Sometimes walking away isn't failure. Sometimes it's the bravest choice you can make. Months later, the divorce was final. Melissa was ordered by the court to attend therapy, but Emily stayed with Daniel. It wasn't easy. Raising a child alone rarely is. But every bedtime story, every giggle, every hug reminded Daniel why he had to fight. The scars Emily carried began to heal slowly but surely because she was surrounded by love, not fear. And one evening, as Daniel tucked her into bed, Emily whispered, "Daddy, I feel safe now." Tears welled in his eyes. That was all he needed. This story is not just about pain. It's about strength. It's about listening to the silent cries of those who cannot protect themselves. And it's about remembering that sometimes the greatest act of love is choosing to stand up, to walk away, and to fight for what truly matters. Because no child deserves fear inside their own home, and every parent has the power to protect them.